This is a Kytronik Super Boost unit. It backs up the timing at higher RPMs as the bike goes up to on 2 strokes, and it also backs up the time under 2,000 RPMs for idle. So, and it has like 16 curves for adjustment for power band. I put it on a stock P200, and the first 2 bands are basically for stock, almost stock bikes, which those 2 are. One has a Cedo and one has a SIP #1 unit. I also purchased a tachometer here. See it right here? It also keeps track of hours that you use the bike. That was very cheap. I taped it on here temporarily so I could just get readings, but I might keep them on the bikes. I got 2 of them for 25 bucks. They're cheap, very simple to use. That's why I got them. I didn't have to wire it into the bike with a power wire and other wires. Some of them come with 3 or 4 wires. This is just 1 wire, a small battery in it, and the wire comes out of it. I hit it in underneath the bike with metal tape. I cleaned it up. I ran it into here, and you just wrap it around 3 times around the ignition wire, and you're done. You tape it on, and it gives you an automatic reading. It's cake. It's probably the easiest thing I ever installed. And you know, for 2 for 25, you could get them. Believe it or not, if you look, you might be able to get one for 11 bucks. It gives you really good readings. You can put it on a 2-stroke or a 4-stroke. It gives you perfect readings for RPMs. And I put it on this bike. I have 2 P200s. I put it on this one so I could get a base reading on a stock bike, so I could figure out a power curve. And bike pretty much shifts at 4,000 RPMs and winds out a little bit over 5,000 RPMs. You could go higher, but I don't know. It seems like 5,200 to 5,400 is really high. You could probably go higher if you really want to try. But it shifts, believe it or not, at 4, a regular P200. It shifts very early. So I put it on my other. I put the Kytronik on my other bike, and now it shifts at 5,000 RPMs. So it raised the shifting points. I haven't had a chance to test top speed yet. This bike runs like a top. It's really good. It's a very good example of a P200. I really been working on it. I've been just getting everything perfect on it. I also got this self-powered, self-contained powered timing light for like $43 on Amazon, which is, it's really good. It surprised me how well it worked. Both of these things all 3 things surprised me how well they work. Really well. My other bike is riding different. It just feels like a different bike now. I'll do a test ride on it eventually, and I'll make a video on it. But that's where I am with this stuff. So far, I do recommend the Kytronik, but you do have to set it up for your bike, and you do have to adjust the timing really well. I've also been working on my small frame here. This is a Super. I changed a lot of things on it. I put a 4-speed in it. I put from a 3-speed. I put a head on it of a Primavera from a 100 to 125. I put only issue I had was the ignition system isn't that great, so I've just ordered I found a replacement ignition with all the right wires for this bike, which is a bit different on the Sport 100. It has 1 or 2 extra wires. It's not like the Primavera. It has the P200, believe it or not, set up for switches. It's a little different, they said. So I got a special stator. Got a Ducati CDI. I got and a new wire, new plugs. I'm gonna get this thing up and running this time. I might sell this one. I'm not sure. Let's see. Also, this bike belongs to someone else. But you know, I have parts to put it together now. All I need is an ignition system, which I might order. The price on the ignition system dropped a lot. I can get one for maybe like 130, 140, maybe 160 with shipping for this engine I put together here. This is pretty much a VBB engine, but you know what? I've been thinking about it. I'm going to port match it, and I'm going to raise the compression on it. I'm going to take my time and just squeeze a little more power out of this thing. I think I'm going to port match the piston really well to the piston, and I'm going to shave that head a little to as far as I can get it, and see what happens. And then jet it right, and put a flow out the carb, do all the things I do, and that's where I am. One of the things I'm thinking about doing, my 56 is running much faster now. I'll talk about that later. I did some more work on it, and this bike is moving out quite well now too. I want to get the Kytronik for this too. I'll get more use out of the expansion pipe that's on it. And let me start up this bike just to start it. Something to do. Let me see here. This bike, my P200, well, they all run really well, but give it a kick. Whoop. Oh, I have to turn the key on. That would help. All right.